So the tree exists as 10 spheres and 22 paths connecting those spheres. But there's a lot of other ways that things are organized on the tree. The first one that is most apparent is that there are 3 pillars or 3 columns that the spheres fall in. And those of you who've spent enough time in the magical community to have heard about the left-hand path or the right-hand path, that's actually where we get those languages from. If you look at the tree in front of you, the sphere that's top of the left-hand path or the left pillar is Binah. And as I've said a number of times, you can't wear black when you're working with the sphere, except black is Binah's color, almost as if they're not sure if Binah has a qliphothic side, although it does have a virtue and a vice. Saturn is the planet that rules it, and all of those planets that are associated with the spheres on the left-hand path tend to be a little harsher. Binah, Saturn, Mars, and Geburah, and Mercury and Hod all hold places where we limit, where we label, where we cut off. And so the pillar is called the pillar of severity, and it is the place where justice rules our thoughts. In contrast, on the right-hand side, you have the pillar of mercy, and it is topped by Chokmah, which rules all of the zodiac, and then Jupiter, which is for Chesed, and then Netzach is Venus. And these are much gentler, they're expanding, they're moving forward, and mercy reigns supreme in that spheres. When you look at those two in contrast, each time you have those two spheres opposite each other, that's where the tower lies between Netzach and Hod. That's where strength lies between Geburah and Chesed. And it is where the Empress lies between Binah and Chokmah. Each of those spheres hold such power, and in a sense, they hold powerful opposites. Because the pillar of mercy was created in the outthrust of the masculine side, and the pillar of severity was created in the confining, the 3 of Binah. The first time you can define a space is with those 3 points. And they say of Binah that she is the demon who condemns all to death by giving birth. Those 2 pillars hold all that we have in human and beyond of the differences between the outthrust and the hope and the severity. You have knowledge on one side and wisdom on the other, because knowledge is to look forward and wisdom is to look back. To balance those 2 pillars, there is a middle pillar, and the middle path is the one that holds the balance. It is Yesod, where with the moon we have the astral plane, and then Tiphareth, that point of balance, the center pillar of the sun and the center sphere. Tiphareth is ruled by the sun, the center of our galaxy, or solar system, the center of our solar system, and that Tiphareth holds all balances. Farther up from that, we have to reach beyond the abyss and come to Kether. And Kether is that one point where we see the face of God, but only half of his face do we see. So it's a bearded king in profile that sits in Kether, and knowing that the other side of his face is an unknown and unknowable God of infinite power and majesty. Now some people place an 11th sphere on the tree, and it's called Daath, and that lies in the abyss, still on the central pillar, but not able to be reached by any way, because it has no day and it has no number, it has no planet. And yet all of us who cross into the dark night of the soul have probably touched Daath. And many say that that's the location of the Akashic Records, where all the wisdom of all the ages are stored. However you find your own Akashic Records, I would suggest you may discover that being balanced and walking the middle pillar path is the safest way for you to navigate that dark abyss. In addition, the middle pillar also refers to a working that brings energy that I'll discuss in another video. Or you can look it up. Israeli Regarde wrote a number of books, all of them titled Middle Pillar, and you might want to look at any of those versions. I think I've got 4 different ones. I'll talk to you later. For more information, find my website, tarotjane.com, or find me on Facebook, Tarot Jane, or Traveling the Tree with Jane Pierce.